Hi everyone, it's Dominic from the msguide.com, and today we're joined by a very special guest. It's Trishna Bharadia, and we're going to talk about MS in the British Asian community, and that's going to start now. Hi Trishna, can you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Hi, so I'm Trishna Bharadia. I live in the UK and I was diagnosed with relapsing MS in 2008 at the age of 28. I'd experienced symptoms about 3 years prior to my diagnosis. So I've been diagnosed for 13 years now.
Trishna, the reason that I asked you on, I know you're a big name in patient advocacy, so to speak. Well, I see you all over the place, but I'm very conscious. I was doing some research for something else that it's very, very different experience to have MS in the Asian community. And when I was talking to Anjali VS in India about it, it was really, really challenging.
So I think there are a number of issues. Firstly, MS has traditionally been seen as a Western white person's condition. And so I know people who have been diagnosed with MS who initially were told by doctors that it couldn't be MS because they weren't Caucasian, because Asians don't get MS, which obviously we do.
Yeah.
There's also a lack of understanding and awareness of what MS is. So within the Asian community, things like diabetes, heart disease, which are very prevalent, and now it's much better understood within the Asian community in the UK, but MS just isn't. People don't understand how it works, the symptoms, and so that makes it very difficult to even recognize that there might be something wrong. And then there's the stigma and the prejudice, which still happens and is still attached to living with any long-term condition and or disability. People want to find a reason as to why this has happened. And, I've had people say to me that I've done something bad in a former life and it's karma come back to bite me. And that's the reason I have MS. And this sort of prejudice and stigma then makes it very difficult to open up conversations and for people to be open and honest. I know lots of people who hide their MS. They don't talk about it. They've not told even their extended family that they have MS. Often people will make up excuses. I know people who will say that they're using a wheelchair because they've had an accident in the gym or they've hurt their back, rather than tell people that they have MS. And then it becomes very much a vicious cycle, because people don't want to talk about it because of this prejudice and stigma. But then by not talking about it and sort of sweeping it under the carpet, it then makes it even harder to raise awareness and try and break down the stigma and the stereotypes and some of this misinformation and myths which get spread about MS. I was speaking to one person in the Asian community who thought MS was a sexually transmitted disease and couldn't understand why their friend's husband didn't have MS when her friend did.
Wow. Anjali VS in India, she said some of her family members would not want to drink out of the same glass as her in case they caught MS from a glass.
I can understand where that might have come from, because there is this distinct lack of understanding about how MS works. And, in some of the Asian languages, is there even a word for like myelin? Is there even a word for neurological? My knowledge of the Asian languages isn't good enough to know that, but I do know that when my family, so for example, my mum and my dad, have been trying to explain to my relatives who don't speak English what MS is, even they've struggled. And they both grew up speaking English wasn't their first language, and so it can be difficult.
So Trishna, I was going to say, my stepfather is Hong Kong Chinese, and he was a
Yep.
helicopter pilot in Canada. And I'd hear him talking to his mother in Cantonese, and it'd be all Cantonese. And occasionally he'd say helicopter, and then just keep going, because there were no words in Cantonese, particularly for what he was trying to tell her. Or I asked him, and he said, sometimes I forget, sometimes there isn't a word that I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think these are issues that the wider community, so outside of the Asian MS community in the UK, people just don't necessarily understand. Even the fact that we don't actually know how many British Asians have MS. There are no statistics. We can take a guess from sort of extrapolating other stats, but we don't know. We don't know whether there could be a different disease cause, because there's been no research done into the genetic element. So we know, for example, that within people of African descent, that MS can take a certain disease
absolutely cause. It will manifest itself differently, it will progress differently, it responds to drugs differently, and you can't just say it's MS, it's for white people, and you all have to do it this way, because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and because we don't have this research, it does make it sometimes difficult to be able to then try and, for example, provide the support, what I would call culturally sensitive support, that the Asian MS community might need. And it's one of the reasons why I've been so heavily involved in Asian MS, which is one of the national support groups that works under the umbrella of the UK's MS Society.
Can I ask you this specifically? Because you're an expert. If we're going to tell people, or if you're going to tell people how best to engage if they have got MS, then, if you could be really specific. So there's Asian MS, which is under the MS Society. Will they find that on the MS Society's website, or does it have its own website?
No, it's within the MS Society website. Okay. So if you go into the MS Society website and type in Asian MS, you'll find it. It has its own web page. We have a Facebook page as well. And I believe that we have to be tackling it from within the community. So, it wouldn't do for you, for example, to go into the Asian community and say, well, why do you think like this? And why are you doing this? And why are you saying this about MS? Actually, it needs to come from within the community itself.
Yeah, and I would feel very, forget about race for a second. It's just arrogance, isn't it? When you're not that person, shall we say, in whatever situation, it's like me going into a group of canoeists and start asking them about their paddle technique. I ain't a canoeist. I can't help, why would I be that one? Just because I quite like looking at canoes. So it's, it's ridiculous.
Even as somebody with MS, I wouldn't even begin to presume that I know what it's like to be a man with MS who has erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
And how on earth am I meant to start even understanding that? And this is where, like I said, it needs to come from within the community. Yeah. And it's the main reason why I've been so public and so vocal, because so if visually, I can be out there as an Asian, being able to say, look, I live with MS, and go out and educate and raise awareness, then I think that's really important, because you have to do it from within the community.
But I think the key thing now with this video is you and I are going to work together afterwards, and I will ensure that all the links that you mentioned, I'll put in your social media profile. We'll do the Facebook group. We'll do the Asians with MS. We'll do as much as possible. So should anybody wish to investigate this further, please check the description of the video, and we will put as much as we can in. You can tweet either of us. We'll also help you. But essentially, if you're Asian and you've got MS, you're not alone. There's a community out there. I really appreciate your time, Trishna. Thank you very much for coming on the msguide.com today.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. All right.